me now in just 1 second. Ah, there we go. We are live. Ladies and
How you
gentlemen,
doing, Pete?
welcome to, how are you doing? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this Thursday's edition of the Chat at 8, where we invite a member, one of you people, good folk on, to have a chat for about 30 minutes. We won't keep you that long. Just a casual chat about rugby, what makes you tick, all those usual stuff. With me this evening is a good rugby supporter, a good Leinster man, David Carberry. How the hell are you, David? Are you well?
I'm very good, Peter. It's great to be on here.
Good man. I see you have, because you told me just before we came on, Lacey, which, she's gone.
She's a bit busy with the other two.
Listen, David, good to have you. And I'll start with, I ask everyone who comes on here. And the first question I always ask them is, where are you from, where were you brought up, and where are you speaking with us from now?
Where am I speaking from now is Carlow. I was born and raised in Carlow. What was the other question?
Where were you born, where were you brought up, and where are you speaking with us from now?
All Carlow.
All Carlow. My dad was from that neck of the woods. He was from Bagnallstown.
Oh, I've got a lot of cousins down there.
There you are now.
And some people call it Minnabeog.
How's that? Why is that?
It's the Irish for Bagnallstown, and it's on the train. They don't. If you're going to Bagnallstown on the train, it's Minnabeog.
Oh, I see. Right, jeez. Every day's a school day, Dave. Every day's a school day. Now, come here. And where did your interest in rugby come from? Did it come from an early age, school days?
A very early age, to be honest. My dad brought us to the Six Nations or the foot. Hold on, I'm going to kick the dogs out because they're after.
Brilliant. Wow. Absolutely brilliant. a man after my own heart. Oh, Dad.
Sorry about that, Peter. They're a bit of a threesome, our dogs. One triggers one, and then it's just calamitous. So
no worries at all, Albin. Go ahead.
Okay, getting back to my introduction to rugby, I come from a big family. My dad's family had 13 kids, and at least 3 of them were either referees in the local rugby club or were the full back, and they've about 6 Towns Cup medals between them. So we were always brought to matches when we were kids, and my dad brought us to see Ollie Campbell and Tony Ward, and we were in Lansdowne Road for the Michael Kiernan. Back in those days, he got the ticket, and we went in on his shoulders through the turnstiles. Was the trick?
Right. I remember those days.
Yeah. And you were in the North Terrace, and there was no barriers, and you just kind of moved with the crowd. I remember being absolutely petrified in the North Stand.
Yeah. They were great memories. I remember those days well. Hugo, Fergus Slattery,
exactly.
All those lads.
Trevor Ringland and all them.
Yeah. Trevor Ringland, and then on Twinkle Toes and that generation and all that.
And you were at your wits' end because lads didn't go to the toilet or anything. Like, they just, you know what I mean? Like, it was every man for himself in those places.
I know, I can imagine. And come here, did you play rugby yourself, David?
I did. I played between around about the say under 11, 12 up to under 18 in Carlow. I actually then gave it up, to be honest, and I went abroad for a number of years. And basically, long story short, when I moved back to Carlow in my late 30s, I was having I had a son on the way, and I got involved in coaching, and that's got me back into the town. It was a great way of getting back to know people because I'd been away for so long, and it was just a great kind of having a bunch of friends. So.
Yeah. And what dare I ask? I'm not going to guess because I normally insult people when I guess. What position?
I was a winger. I was a winger. A very, very skinny could run very fast winger who got the ball about twice in the whole space of a match. Back in those days. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And you mentioned the coaching there, David. What level or what age group were you coaching?
It started off basically that I took on when my son started playing rugby under sixes. I got involved then, and I brought his team all the way up to under 18. So, whatever, 12 years. Even at one stage, I was the clubber stuck for a coach.
Right, okay. And I just actually, we met.
I lost you there. Sorry.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. So we're yeah. No. This is expected. This happens as I mentioned to you. Sometimes it freezes and we reset, and I don't know why that happens.
Okay.
I must remember to put money. I must remember to put money into the meter next time. But David, we actually met before a game. I can't remember what game it was. I think
we did.
Crow's Pub, and I think you were there with your son, weren't you? Didn't I? Was that right?
I was. You were. You're 100%. Yeah. I think it might have been the Toulouse game either last year or the year before.
Yeah. I knew that.
It was definitely in the Aviva.
That's
right. I remember meeting a lot of your buddies. There was one guy. There was one couple that he was an electrician. I can't remember all the names now, and I met Grania O'Regan with you. I remember her.
Yeah, Grania. Yeah. Oh yeah. What was the that was Jesus, the Toulouse game? Did we win that? I can't remember what I did last week.
We did. Okay. Yeah.
What was the last game you were at? Were you at the game?
No, I wasn't. To be honest, I couldn't make it. Because I live in Carlow. You see, 8 o'clock kickoffs are just a pain for us. It just by the time we get out, it's 11 o'clock, and you're getting to Carlow. I did a couple last year, 8 o'clock kickoffs, but just they're tough when you live in Carlow.
Yeah,
I'm going on Saturday though.
How are you? Oh, good man.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be going, but no, I can't now. Anyway, which much to my disappointment. There's someone there. Yeah, Peter Burke. You managed to meet Dave Carberry before a match, so well for you. I don't know who says that. I have no idea. What was
does it come up just random Facebook user, or does?
Yeah, no, but if you were watching this in the group, you'd see who said it. But in order for me to see a name, unless it's on YouTube, because this goes on to YouTube as well, although it didn't last night because there was some technical issue with YouTube or whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. But what was, I don't know who said that. Yeah, no, it just comes up Facebook user. What was Martin Lockery slagging you about there in the group?
Because of the Irish Rugby Banter group, I've made a couple of friends over the years, and we had been kind of into when the World Cup tickets came out. I knew he lived in Paris, and I lived there for 4 years back in the day, and we had a bit of banter, and we had arranged to meet up, and we were all like, we'd got the tickets for the matches, and at the very last minute, my dad ended up coming to the South Africa game with us, and my son couldn't because of work. So, long story short, we made a mess of our pre-match plans, and I was getting texts off Martin all day. This is where we are. I'm here, and I completely made the balls of it. We arrived in Saint Denis in the fan zone, and he'd left. And to this, that's what that is. He's still slagging me about it.
2 ships passing in the night, Dave.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. He's a really sound fella, and I actually tried to meet up with him for the Kiwi match, but he wasn't going, and I nearly had a ticket for him in that, but he said he'd be divorced if he went to that match.
Oh well, no, that's fair enough. I see. Rob Carney might be going that route.
Yeah, and that's a fair statement.
It's a damn man. Right. What do you think of? We discussed this last night, but I'd be interested to hear your views on this. What's your thinking about Snyman? Is he worth a bollocks? Now I know he has a pay per play thing in his contract. What do you reckon?
I kind of it depends on if he can stay injury free. Is the main thing with me is that like I think he's a phenomenal player, and I do think that Leinster have missed that kind of Rocky Elsom, Brad Thorne. There's been a number of players over the years while I've been supporting them that have that grunt. Johnny O'Connor in Connacht had it. Peter O'Mahony has it. Like, and Leinster haven't got really that. Like, for all intents and purposes, James Ryan, phenomenal player, but he doesn't have a nasty streak in him that we kind of need.
Sorry, we just reset there again. I don't know why it does it.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that depending on go on. I'll let you go first.
No, I was going to say, David. No, we froze there again for a second. I was going to say, our colleague Peter Martin said that Snyman on the pitch is, or words I'm paraphrasing. He said something along the lines of, a half fit Snyman is better than a fully fit Jenkins.
100%.
Yeah, you'd agree with that.
100%. Simon's offloads and his general line out niggles and getting in, just being a pest basically in line outs and mauls is worth every penny.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And what about this potential signing that's been touted? Now, I don't know if it's going to happen. And from speaking to, again, Peter Martin last night, it's not the best signing ever. This Taniela Tupu, the Melbourne Rebels tight head that we're looking
I'm not in favour of that. I don't.
Why not? Go on.
He's too injury prone, firstly. He's been injured, like he missed the World Cup because he got his hamstring last year. I watch a fair bit of Super Rugby, so I've kind of kept tabs on him over the years, and he's a great player and all that, but I just think if another year, the likes of Michael Milne, there's a lot of good stock coming through that just need a year or two. Like, he's on $1 million Australian dollars a season something with like the Melbourne Rebels. Like,
what's that? 20?
We don't need to spend.
What's that? 20 quid?
I don't know. I have no idea. But like, I just don't think he's worth that.
Yeah, I was very impressed when Milne came on. Well, I've been impressed with him anyway, but I was very impressed when he came on. He scored that try, and like the man, he's a powerful lad, isn't he, David?
Big time. And like, we have others coming through. Like, there's the McCarthy fella. There's a couple of the under-20s from 2 years ago. Like, there's one or two of them. Like, there's good stuff coming through. I just don't think in the current setup, like, and to be honest, it doesn't give a good look to IRFU, Leinster. Like, there's enough conspiracy theories out there that some of our other bitter other province members love to flog us with, that we get preferential treatment in these categories. So that would be my other reason.
Well, I mean, is there, like, do we get preferential treatment?
No.
Right. Okay. That's categorically no.
Absolutely not. Like, if you think about how many players, like from Carlow alone, like, you have Charlie Ward from Tullow went to Connacht. You have Tom Daly went to Connacht. Like, the amount of players like that are generated through the club game and there's private schools, let's call a spade, that end up at other provinces. I don't, like, to be honest, I think that like it's a massive help to them.
Yeah.
So we're not getting the same in return.
Yeah, but you're like, how would we get the same? You know,
exactly.
Like, I mean, okay, hold on. Well, I'll qualify that. One stands out, right? Robbie Henshaw, right?
Yeah.
A Leinster man, Connacht, and we took him back.
You see, where he's from is right on the border of Connacht. I know he's a Buccaneers player, but he's from Westmeath. So he could have fallen either side, and like, you can't fault him for wanting to take the big money signing. Like I wouldn't have been all in favour at the time of us taking their star player. I don't think it sends the right message. But at the same time, like my own, like Joey's he's our second cousin, and like he took the money as well and went to Munster. Like, so there's a kind of like you can't fault players for wanting to better themselves and enhance their careers, and like
absolutely, I totally agree. And you know what? I agree with you totally. And on you saying that, I think that's the reason why Ross Maloney is leaving us.
Totally.
Because when he leaves, he's automatically. Now, I didn't know this until I was reading about it there a few months back. He's automatically English qualified.
Yeah, I heard that.
Now, you're right. You're right in what you're saying. Like, if a player wants to go and play, test level rugby, and you're not getting it where you are, why would you stay? I mean, I don't understand people's objections to this, of which there was a lot when it was announced. So.
But even the likes of Deegan and Rob Penny and or Scott Penny, like, I'm amazed they've stuck around this long. To be honest, I know Scott Penny's only 23, but like Max Deegan, World Player of the Year.
Will Connors, David.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I think our squad depth overall it must be 56, 57 players.
Yeah.
Rotation wise. I mean, you can only play or pick 23 for a squad.
Yeah.
So anyway, we could talk for ages about that. What do you make of this the Club Rugby World Cup idea?
I'm not in favour, to be honest. I think I would have preferred a North versus South proper.
Yes.
And just a one-off. I think it's a complete. It'll end up just being a mess, because like, where are they going to play? Dubai, or where does this take place? Like, it's got. I just have this fear that Saudi Arabia is going to get their filthy mitts on this, and they are going to have the matches in Saudi Arabia, and then the URC, a final is going to be like, it's the same as the World Cup in Qatar for me.
But sure, you couldn't play a fucking rugby game in Saudi Arabia, for Christ's sake.
I know. But they'll make sure they have snows. They have ski slopes in Saudi Arabia. They'll absolutely throw a barrel load of money at.
But sure, with the heat, and although I don't think they're strict on the alcohol anymore. I think that's kind of gone down. But the heat, I mean, when the fuck, like, at what time of the year would you play it? Like, it's fucking 110 degrees there all year. They don't have a fucking winter over there. Like, where?
Yeah.
But the other thing, what we were discussing this last night, and one of the things was, David, when do you play the fucking thing? You've got a Lions tour rotated to a Rugby World Cup, Lions tour, Rugby World Cup, Rugby Club World Cup. Like, for fuck's sake, the rugby calendar is fucking jam packed as it is. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Summer tours, autumn internationals.
It'll have to be in the winter in the Northern Hemisphere, if that makes sense. Because it's taking the window of the Champions Cup. So, like, it'll probably end up like the same kind of time of year as the Qatar World Cup, because that's the only time that it's absolutely possible to play outside in any of those countries.
Yeah, the cynic in me and a lot of people would say it's the CVC money.
Exactly. No, it is 100%.
Yeah,
it's 100%. Like, a one-off, like the way the Champions League do it, where the lads from South America, and I don't know where there's 4 teams basically, and they all play each other for there's 2 semi-finals and a final. Do you know the way that happens with the Champions League final, and they play the South American champions and some other lads?
That'd be much. Are you talking about football?
Soccer, yeah. I know, but the system they have would work better. That's what I mean.
Right, but that is that a yearly thing, David? It's not, is it?
Yeah,
no,
it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, okay, and it's just 2 teams from
There's one team from South America, the Boca Junior or whatever, like the
All right.
Brazilian teams, and
Yeah.
then they have, I think, a team from Africa and a team from Asia, and there's a
Right.
two semi-finals, and then the winners of that play each other in the final, and it happens over a week, say.
I see. Right. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. What did you make of our game against Leicester? Were you impressed, or were you going?
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
I I think we were slow off the mark. We've highlighted a lot of problems. I thought Ross Byrne was off his game. I'd say he's struggling still from coming back from injury.
Yeah.
I just thought we expected to turn up and win, I think, by a high margin, and then when Leicester actually turned it on in different parts of the game, we struggled to put them away.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah. And I'll ask you another thing that you're talking about Ross Byrne. I don't know if you saw it, but I saw a clip on Twitter. It was mentioned last night as well in the show. Brian O'Driscoll was asked who is Leinster's 10.
I didn't see that.
His answer was he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He basically said was Harry Byrne 2 or 3 years ago, you would have hung your hat off that, but he hasn't lived up to it. Ross Byrne is like steady Eddie. He'll get you through the last 10, 15, 20 minutes of a game.
Yeah.
Kieran Frawley is probably the best attacking out half of those three. And he is.
Yeah.
And much to my amazement, I just cannot understand why Frawley isn't started at 10 more often for Leinster. He also did mention Sam Prendergast, but he said Prendergast is still too raw at the moment to take that. Now, I will say, and again, it's something I think we are suffering a hangover from, is the Johnny Sexton barometer that we're measuring all these up and coming out halves against that. So, what do you think of this whole thing? Are we still suffering the Sexton hangover?
I think it was always going to be that way. Johnny Sexton was such a kind of once in a lifetime player that there was never going to be a good replacement to him. And if I'm very much a Ross Byrne fan, but I do see the weaknesses in his game that people highlight, and that I think he like the England game that he took the flak for, where we had Robbie Henshaw at full back. I don't know if you remember that. Manu Tuilagi just steamrolled us.
Yeah.
Ross Byrne came in for an awful lot of flack for that game, unfairly, I believe. And it kind of stunted his progress through the Irish system. And he was kind of thrown back to Leinster to kind of get us out of jail in the crunch last pool game in the Champions League or the Champions Cup and stuff like that. And he's not Johnny Sexton. He never will be. I don't think anybody will ever be Johnny Sexton, to be honest. And I think that we need another season to kind of find our way between the three that you've said. Like Ross Byrne had a terrible, unfortunate injury just before like the World Cup. I think Jack Crowley is probably the number 10 for Ireland, but I still think that Ross Byrne has plenty to offer, if that makes sense.
He's not. No, I know what you mean, but I don't see much attacking prowess in Ross Byrne.
No, 100%. I agree. His style of play is more like he has more in common with the likes of Andre Pollard than a Crowley or a kind of an attacking 10.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
he's more standoffish. He sets a deeper line. I just think that it's like he's a fantastic kicker of the ball, which he proved against Australia last year. Like a lot of people forget, a lot of these kind of crunch times we see them in Leinster all the time, but for Ireland, he didn't get the opportunity, and the few and far between opportunities he got, one was against England that he got chastised for, and the other one was Australia, and like everybody kind of made little of it, like he did what he was expected of. Do you know this kind of way?
Yeah. Come here, I must ask you. You said you were going to the game on Saturday, are you?
Yeah.
Did you say that?
My dad, my 82-year-old dad, and his 2 sisters and my son.
Oh, good man. Fair play to you. Get the crew going. How do you think that game is going to go? I think this is our 4th time playing them. I think we beat them once. So
5th.
What, 5th time.
It's our 5th.
Okay. 5th.
It's 3. We lost 2 finals, a semi-final, and we've played them in the pool game this year.
And we beat them. We beat them.
We beat them in the pool game this year.
Yeah.
And we lost the semi-final during COVID. Do you remember that one? In La Rochelle. It was a semi-final, and I think there was no crowd there, if I'm remembering rightly. It was the year that, it is. Yeah, I'm right. The year that the final was in London, and it was Toulouse and La Rochelle played each other to no crowd. Am I gone?
Yeah, sorry, you froze there. No, you're grand. You're back, David. You froze there. I missed a couple of seconds. I was going to ask you. Sorry, if you did answer already. My apologies. I didn't hear. How do you think we're going to go on against La Rochelle next weekend?
I'm worried, if I'm being honest. Right. I have the bookies have us at +8, which I think is absolutely stone mad.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous. Yeah,
it'll be 1 point either way. And I would, to be honest, I think if we win, we're lucky.
Yeah, and if we do win, and it's a big if we do win, who's on our side? I can't remember who else we're coming up against or who's playing.
Northampton. We get Northampton or the Bulls in the semi-final.
Yeah, I think I prefer Northampton, if I'm honest.
Well, it will be Northampton because the Bulls are sending a B squad up.
Oh, I saw that. You're right. I saw that somewhere that they were sending fecal.
11 Springboks are missing.
Why is that injury or what's going on there? I saw it. I didn't read it.
Unfortunately, the South African teams, I think, haven't placed as much emphasis on the Champions Cup this year. They're not allowed to have the semi-final if they qualified at the moment because of the travel arrangements. The French clubs kicked up about the travel scenarios last year, and they got their way, as most times they do. So basically this year, even if the Bulls had won on Saturday, they'd still have to play their semi-final in England. So hence, their interest in the competition has gone. So they love the URC. They're mad about that, but the Champions Cup, no.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes complete and total sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go to many away games, David? Be it Test match or be it Leinster?
I've been to. I was at Twickenham in 2012. I was where else? No, I haven't been anywhere else really. To be honest, because of work and stuff like that, and like the usual. Yeah. I'm dying to do one. I would have loved to have gone to La Rochelle there was a whole pile of them from the group here over in La Rochelle.
That's right. Yeah. No, because the reason I was asking you that was I was going to say, do you have a favorite stadium that you've been at? It could be in Ireland, it could be Twickenham, whatever. I don't know.
To be honest, I haven't been to any of the major ones. I've been to Stade de France a few times now, and I was in Twickenham for that final against Ulster. But apart from that, I enjoyed going to Thomond. Thought Thomond was very good.
Yeah, a few people have said that's me all right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Thomond, did you see Zebo is going to make an announcement in the next week or so about his future? I guess he's going to retire.
I'd say the same.
Yeah. And
I'd say Peter O'Mahony might be behind him.
Again, I don't think anyone would be too shocked or surprised
No.
if that was the case. Yeah. Who's your own current favorite player, and who's your favorite player from the past who's retired or stopped playing now?
My current favorite player, I do like Josh Van der Fleer a lot. I just think I like the way he carries himself, the way he speaks, the way he plays.
Yeah.
He's And I love all the banter about him that he's South African. Like,
he's from Wicklow in South Africa.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like a family that sells radiators in Wicklow are not South African.
No, definitely not. And what about a past player, someone who's retired or isn't playing anymore?
Probably Brian O'Driscoll.
Excellent, good choice.
Yeah.
Do you know, actually, I was chatting to someone who is a huge Munster fan supporter. He's a great lad. Great conversation about rugby we have. But I asked him the same question, and he said his favorite current player is Dan Sheehan.
Wow.
Yeah, and his favorite past player was who was it? Anthony Foley.
Yeah, Axel.
Axel. Yeah, that was his pick. What was it called?
I met Trevor Brennan a few times, and I think he's great crack.
He is great crack. Trev, Jesus Christ, yeah.
I'll give you a small thing. The team that I coached up through Carlo, we've a French coach that is in our team, and he's from a place called, oh God, what's the name? It's the club that basically DuPont, Entmac, Bougarit, and Gelange, or Osh. The name of the club is AUCH.
Yeah.
And we brought all our lads to play a mini tournament over there. And we played all the kind of the surrounding teams from that area. And we ended up going for dinner one day in Trevor Brennan's bar. And like, I met him since then at the Toulouse games. But to say the man couldn't do enough, he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And I know I've never met him, but I'm sure he comes across as being a great guy. Stand up, no messing.
Loads of messing.
You wouldn't want to mess with him, should I say?
No, absolutely not.
But I think it's funny when you hear his son being interviewed after games on French TV.
That's one of my favorite clips of all time. After they beat the All Blacks, it's one of I use that clip so many times. Like, bleeding deadly.
I think it's absolutely brilliant, and the French jersey on him, and then you hear this lad. You know, it's absolutely
brilliant.
Fantastic. I know, yeah. Another question I ask everyone as well, David. I'd be interested to hear your views on this. What would you change about the game if David Carberry was head of the table at World Rugby? There's 10 or 12 people sitting around you. Whatever you said goes, and you walked into that meeting and said, right, lads and ladies, we're getting rid of this, we're changing this. What would you do?
First thing I do would be get rid of that stupid Southern Hemisphere 20-minute red card rule. I think it's the most disgraceful idea that's ever come out of the World Rugby stable. I'd speed up scrums. I'd penalise teams for time wasting at scrum time. I'd be more severe than at the moment on red cards and suspensions and stuff like that. And this kind of where you get a week off your suspension for going to tackle school, I'd get rid of that. They'd be the main ones, though.
The 20-minute red card is a bugbear of mine. I absolutely despise the idea.
Same here.
I think it, and I don't know if you saw it, but I put it into the group about if you a head collision, a red card offense, like which is 9 times out of 10, it's a head collision or something like that. You are 272 times less likely to suffer a concussion if you tackle legally, which makes perfect sense. Yeah, you know. So I don't know why. Yeah. Anyway, okay. What was I was going to ask you something else there. Oh yeah. This might be a slightly, but do you have a favorite ref, or the flip side? when you hear a game coming up and you hear so and so's reffing, who would you go? Yeah, I'm not mad about him or her.
Frank Murphy comes to mind. I won't use the name we call him by.
No. We won't do that, Frank. Yeah, Frank seems to be fairly popular.
He reminds me of do you remember Steve Walsh that used to ref from Australia?
I do.
Himself and Frank, I think, are very similar. Like they're always dolled up to the nines, and the hair is immaculate, and like they're more interested in the look than sometimes what's going on in the pitch, in my opinion.
It's because they're worth it, David.
Absolutely.
You know? So anything else? Quickly. Just briefly, what did you think of the Six Nations just gone?
I thought it was a bit like on when we played France first, everybody kind of, and myself included, got carried away with themselves about how good we were. I thought it was a good thing that England brought us back down a peg. I think it kind of highlighted a few areas that we really are like we are going to have problems going forward in the next year at 10 as a replacement for Andrew Porter, and different things like that got properly highlighted. Peter O'Mahony, who's his replacement. So I think it was a good learning lesson for the Irish squad. And I think at the end of the day, the top three teams could have beaten each other at different times of the competition, depending on the day, if that makes sense.
No, I know exactly what you mean. And if you mentioned their positions, the Irish Independent, Cian Tracy published a thing about positions that the Irish national squad need to improve upon drastically.
Yeah,
full back.
Totally.
This is no secret. I've said this numerous times. We've only got one dedicated fullback in Hugo.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have another dedicated fullback. Right.
Yeah.
One, Hugo Keenan.
And Jordan Larmour isn't a fullback.
Tight head prop. We could do it more than.
No, 100%.
Neither is Jimmy O'Brien. Neither is James Lowe. Neither is.
I think they want Frawley to be, though. I think they're looking for Frawley to kind of step in there.
Frawley's a 10.
I know. Yeah. I know. I think we need.
Frawley's a 10, 12 at a push, but his I think his speciality position.
Have we froze again?
Go on, David. You got it?
No, I think we need a bit of. Yeah. For full back anyway, for definite, and definitely in the front row, the two props, like we are definitely not. We don't have, like, Finlay Bealham is definitely a very, very like for like replacement for Furlong at the moment. He's a good. He's had a couple of really good games in that position. I just think Cian Healy has 1 year max, and the fact that we're still playing Cian Healy says it all.
Yeah, true. I mean, I know. I mean, we went through the age profiles of the loose head and the tight head here a couple of last week, I think it was. There's a few of them won't be at the next World Cup, put it that way, simply because of the age. Simply because of the age profile. I mean, you had Stephen Archer there playing full 80 minutes for Munster. Stephen Archer is what, he's 36.
Yeah,
this sort of thing. Anyway, there you go. Jeez, we got to 40 minutes, David. I could have spoken to you for another couple of hours, but look, I said I'd keep you half an hour. It is.
Listen, a pleasure to talk to you, Peter.
Listen, and David, thank you very much for your time and your input and your chat. And it's been great chatting with you. It's been great chatting with you, and hopefully I'll see you at a game again. In the not too distant future.
Absolutely. Listen, thanks a million. And
not at all, David. Take care of yourself. All right, all the best. Good man. Take care, man.